Did you give your exes a heads up before the baby announcement?
What did you think about it leaking online?
Are you two gonna get married? Well, what is the last name of the baby? Welcome back to another episode of Just Alex. Today, yet again, I have Harrison here with me, which I now can call my baby daddy. I've been calling him that, but you guys haven't known him as that. You call me baby mama.
Always.
Always. It's our favorite thing to say. Today's episode is a Q&A where I put up on my Insta story and I said, ask me your burning questions. And you guys did. And the best part about it was there was a lot of repeat questions, which those are the ones we're going to answer. For example, what's the baby's name? What's the baby's last name? Are you two going to get married? Did you give your exes a heads up before the baby announcement? Did they reply? Who's going to spoil the baby more? Where are you guys going to live? How are you deciding between, we're down to 2 cities. How are you deciding between those 2 cities? So we're going to dive into all of that without a filter as always, but all of those questions have to do with me and they have to do with Harrison. So rather than me sitting here talking to myself for however long the duration of this podcast is, Harrison's here with me. So hello.
Hello.
You guys, thank you for your kind, like heartwarming, I was crying level of response to the baby news. I know Harrison and I were both overwhelmed. Our moms were overwhelmed. Like, you guys were really sweet. People are kind. How about that? Let's just we're not going to wrap it with that because I'm going to keep going for a second. But the amount of people that listen to the episodes, the amount of texts, I spent all Thursday, Friday, and Saturday just texting people. The amount of mothers that reached out and just gave me tips, told me pregnancy is hard, you probably feel alone, try these ginger chews, really helped me so much I can't even begin to say. So just thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts.
It was amazing to see the response and all the different folks who reached out and one of the more special days that I can remember.
Yeah, and it's fun now that we get to live our life out loud because we're thinking of this baby every day. I wake up every day and the first thing on my mind is like, oh, you're pregnant. You don't forget it. And so now being able to talk openly is fabulous. And with that, question number 1, did I say subscribe to the podcast?
No, you have not.
Okay, we're going to do that first, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you listen to your podcasts or you watch them, go click that little subscribe button so every Thursday morning you can wake up with my face in your inbox saying, new episode of Just Alex, and you can just hit click play. Boom, done. And you can rate 5 stars while you're there because it makes a big difference. All right, the first question that we need to conquer is, what is the baby's name? And here's what I'll tell you guys about that. When we knew we were pregnant, but we didn't know the gender of the child, we loved the name Ryder. That was like the winner for it. And we were like, that could be a girl or a boy. And then one day Harrison comes to me and he says, can't do Ryder for a girl. And I said, why? And he said, ride her. That could really be a joke. And I was like, oh, gut punch, like run to my favorite name. And I don't really like it for a guy now because he's the one riding. I don't know. You just killed it for me.
But while it killed Ryder for a girl, it's still probably the front runner for a guy. And we did think we were having a boy.
We did think we were having a boy because we went into the doctor and she said, are you guys finding out the sex of the baby yet? And we were like, not yet. We're going to do it one day with our families. And she's like, okay, I won't tell you. And then she's doing the thing on the stomach where you see all the little body parts. And she goes, oh, that's his arm. Oh, sorry. I know you guys aren't finding out gender. And so in our heads, and Harrison and I never talked about it, I was like, it's a boy. And Harrison's like, it's obviously a boy. She just didn't mean to do that. So for a month, about a month and a half,
we were pretending that we didn't know what the gender was, but in the back of our minds, it was definitely a boy.
It was a boy. And then we go and Harrison, the gun goes off, pops open, and that pink dust comes out. And that, we were like, what in the world?
Well, I called my sister and I was like, I think you made a mistake. And it's funny because our very good friends, they did a gender reveal and it popped pink because the person that they left in charge with sorting it looked at the gender of the mom and not the gender of the child. And so I thought that the same thing had happened to us. And so I just like called my sister, like, hate to say this, but doctor said this, I think you made a mistake. And she's just like, I don't make these types of mistakes. And then hangs up, checks. She was correct, and it is a girl.
She doesn't make those types of mistakes. Like if I was in charge of doing the gender, I would do that. But she's a pretty thorough girl. So anyways, it's a little girl. So then we decide we like the name Harper. We loved the name Harper, and we were just tossing around names one day. Harper comes up. We're like, love Harper. And the middle name is going to be Hodges as of now. I'm sure this will change. But Harper Hodges sounds really cute.
Yeah. And it was also a nice little dynamic where my niece, her name is Parker, so you have Harper and Parker, and cool little 1-2 punch.
Which a lot of people would say Harper and Parker is not a good idea. But the thing is, Harrison's sister, who is Parker's mom, loves the Harper-Parker dynamic. It's a tongue twister, because you're like, you can't get the kids' names out, but it's really cute if everyone loves it. One day we're walking in Nashville and Harrison says, I don't like Harper. And I was like, I don't love it so much that I want to defend it right now. So maybe Harper's out. And the best thing my dad ever told me was don't monogram anything yet, Alex, because you never know what you're really going to name the baby until you see her. And so I've always come from the school of thought of like, maybe we'll get it down to 2 or 3 and have like a top list and then decide when we see her. Some people pick the final name, and I love that because we can monogram things, but I know me and I know you, and we're just going to change up until the day. So then I said, what about Tate or Tatum? Because we want it to be a unisex name.
Right? That's the clear front runner right now.
You loved it when I said it. And you always have to ask yourself, do you know somebody with that name? I don't know a Harper. Harrison doesn't know a Harper. I know a Tate. But I grew up with this Tate playing volleyball with her, who has the smile that just is like burned into my brain, and it is the happiest smile on the planet. And so that's an example of a name that like I would be more than happy to name our daughter. So Tatum is a front runner. And then we like Max.
Yeah.
Which I want to go with Maxine. I don't know if you want to.
I think I really like Maxine, I'm a little more cold on. I think one cool dynamic to Max as well is that was my grandfather's name.
Even if he's dead, it still is your grandfather's name.
It was his name.
No, I think it is his name, no?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm asking you, kind of.
No idea.
Okay. Rest in peace to Max.
Rest in peace to Max. So that would be cool. The kind of little caveat there is we did just find out that Max has another family. So we probably want the dust to settle on that before we start building the statue and naming future great-grandchildren after him. This, like when I say just found out within the past 3-4 weeks, so.
And how'd you find out?
An aunt took a 23andMe.
Oh my gosh.
And it came up through the 23andMe. And then we just get an email in our inbox one day with the update.
That says, what do you mean the update? That says you have another sibling?
Should I read the email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think I should.
Because a lot of people I didn't get that. When I did my 23andMe, it just told me I was from, I don't even remember.
No, this is the email that the aunt sent the family.
She emailed the family to let you guys know?
Yeah, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this.
Maybe she won't listen and you'll be safe. Unfortunately, I'll tell you how these things go, though. People then tend to send it to the aunt. But I gotta say, guys, just while I have you here, being pregnant, one thing that I've noticed is spray tans don't stick to my skin, and my skin is drier than ever, and it just peels. There's a random fact for you. I'm just like shedding like a snake over here. Do you have the email?
Yeah, I do, but I can't read it.
Summarize. Because you've baited us now.
Subject: dad.
Oh,
It was sent to
your dad.
to my dad.
Subject dad. And does she basically say like, I took a 23andMe, we have another sibling?
Yep, and there was another army of folks running out there with the legendary Fugman genetics. So,
but it was a girl, so they don't have your last name.
yeah, the daughter was a girl, and then she has had 3 children. So we have 3 new cousins.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: are you mad at your grandpa knowing that?
This is one I haven't fully processed.
Fair.
It's hot off the press. So hot that we may need to cut this whole thing. But, I think that I'm sure he had his reasons. I think he was 18 when it happened, and to me he was a great grandfather and was a pretty legendary dude. So lived his life at full speed, and I can't say I was really that surprised.
Do you think he knows now? Like when he died, do you think he was like, I got away with it? And then lo and behold, 23andMe exists? It's a question of what you think the afterlife's happening, but do you think that he's watching?
I think that he probably didn't think much to it. He was like a cigar and whiskey at noon type of guy.
Oh, he doesn't care if you guys found out.
So really tough to get that guy's cortisol spiking.
Right, so he's laughing. Okay, I don't mind. I asked that to know if we wanted to pass the name down to the girl. I'm for it, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, Max lived loose. So
lived loose. I like it. I don't know if that's good for the girl, but
yeah.
I'm for it though. I'm good with the name Max if that's the little I know about your grandfather now is that. It seems like you have fond memories of him. But it reminds me of the guy that founded Southwest, drinking the whiskey and the cigar at noon. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right, Max, Tate, and Harper. Those are the 3. And those will change, right? But that, as of now, those are the working 3 names. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm on board.
So now you guys are going to wonder, well, what is the last name of the baby? It's the natural next step, which we will go to. And I'm taking this one because I don't want, and if you know me, I didn't let Harrison pick the last name of the baby that I'm going to birth. But I wanted to get ahead of this one with him. So I just told him like week 5. I was like, by the way, the baby's going to have your last name. And you go, whoa, wow, really? And I was like, yeah. And you were like, so we don't have to have like a discussion over that? And I was like, nope, just discussed it. It's going to be Fugman. And I think you said why. And I was like, well, since we're planning on getting married anyways, I'm coming behind the baby with the last name, sounds like. So we're going to be a family one day, so let's just ahead of the curve, she can have it. Because it merits knowing at this point when I found out I was pregnant, we delayed the wedding. So I know that we're not getting married anytime soon. We're going to get into that. But I was down for I wanted her to have your last name.
I find it funny when 2 people remember a conversation that happened so differently. Like I
said it's going to have your last name.
The way I recall that is like pretty early on. You were like, and by the way, the baby's going to have your last name, and I was just like, of course it is. What do you mean,
dude? You should be open. You should be open to it.
I didn't think that it was an option for it not to have my last name.
It's coming out of me.
And then my guy Pitts, who doesn't listen to this because he says he thinks it's an invasion of my privacy.
Although you willingly air it.
But hopefully he listens to this one.
He's a mentor for you.
Yeah, I love this guy. I think he's going to be a recurring character on the pod, at least when I talk. He said, you know that when it comes out, it's gonna come out with her last name. So you got to get ahead of that. And I was like, Tom, I got you there. She brought it up last week, and we're covered. So
yeah, so it comes out with whose last name?
With Hodges.
Yeah,
I know.
So you're welcome. Am I hearing it?
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
I got
you.
right ahead of that because I thought, what would be the point? This last name thing could get a little hazy. And then I was like, I got it. Middle name Hodges, lives forever. I got a brother, so it lives on, right? And then we'll take Fugman because eventually you and I, we're going to go down that aisle.
You sure?
Hilarious. And then it'll all sort itself. So the baby's last name will be Fugman. So that's why I liked like a Harper Hodges Fugman. I thought was cute, but I'm great with a Tate Hodges. I'm good with any of it.
Yeah, I think as we said, all three are in play.
Now here's the thing. What do you think about when couples go to pick the last name, just objectively picking the cooler last name?
Ooh.
Saying like, all right.
Yeah, because Hodges is an irrefutably better last name than Fugman. But Fugman's such a weird name that it's become such a big part of my identity, right? Like that's been my nickname, I don't know, or that is an abbreviation of my nickname since I was like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Same. I'm in people's phone.
Fugman.
I'm
my
under
Instagram
Hodge.
handle was the Fug Life.
Oh my God.
Which I think I want to bring back.
That's so bad. No.
Yes.
And here's the case for Hodges. Alex Fugman, it's not doing anything for me. Harrison Hodges, Brittany Schmidt texts me this all the time. She's always like, Harrison Hodges is good.
Yes, but then I would also need to, castrate myself and
I know.
Give up my manhood.
But I saw this thing where it's like, we're not selling the girls anymore. Dad's not taking her down to the town square to auction her off.
Fugman till I die.
I know. No, I'm with you on that. Let's not even get into that further. All right, so that's the baby's first and last name. It's basically a TBD. I'll say this. My mom sent me a darling.
Hold on. I would rephrase that.
What?
The first name's a TBD.
Oh, right. Well, here, we can just even keep that whole part in. Let me rephrase that because clarity is important on these things. The last name is not a TBD. I would say we're 90% that the middle name is Hodges.
Love Hodges is the middle name.
Only caveat is it could go to a kid's first name. But we'll throw it in the middle name here. And then the first name is like totally TBD. But my mom sent me a really cute, I hesitate to say it in case someone steals it, but I don't care if you steal it because cute is cute, of a bow on a baby. And it's monogrammed in really big letters. And I would love to do that for the baby in the hospital. Monogram a really big bow that goes over her whole body.
Okay, very cute.
You don't
just write TBD.
Or no name. Unknown Fugman. So then the next question is, are we getting married? Yes. And the plan, I know we had said the plan.
That's just no.
Oh, right. I don't propose to him. What?
I don't think that we can go in with a clear-cut yes.
I would agree with that. We cannot go in with a clear-cut yes because we're not that planned. Well, let me say it this way. The plan was to get married in Paris in July. And I realize that a lot of the questions I have is that still the plan? No, it's not the plan because if we get married, I want to lose the baby weight. There's no other way to say it. And I want to feel like myself when we do it. And I'm in this much of a rush. I'm holding up a 0. I'm in 0 rush. And I think you are too.
Yeah, I think the focus has definitely shifted to let's get through the pregnancy cleanly. Let's bring the child into the world. And then the marriage conversation comes back to the forefront.
Yeah, totally. That's a very good way to put that. We totally had to table that because I can't explain to you two people that are in less of a rush to do that step than us. Because we're baking a little baby in the womb now. And that's all. When you don't know where you're going to live and you're bringing a child into the world, what really becomes unimportant is whether or not you're married to the person. And I think a really natural next step here is a lot of people asked me, are you worried about this relationship ending? Do you feel like you jumped into it too quickly? That whole school of those questions. And let me answer it. I think you can go first and I'll piggyback off of you.
Did we get into this too quickly?
No, do we think this will end?
I think that when you look at relationships as a whole, like there's no formula for success. And
people that are married and unmarried, like people that didn't make it and some that are still married today, no formula. You can't, some you can't call successful.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And if you were to look at society's kind of normal expectation of what makes a perfect couple, I think that our past relationships would have checked most, if not all of those boxes. And so, when you accept that as a principle, then what it really comes down to for me is taking in all of my experiences, good and bad, single, in a serious relationship, and using those to make the decisions that I have today. And it's all of that history and all that experience that gave me the conviction to move as fast as we have and put us in as good of a position as I think any couple can be in, despite how short and crazy of a timeline it's been.
And as we say, having the context of our past relationships and knowing that we didn't feel like bringing a kid into the world with those people who despite that they were fabulous. Like, we both had phenomenal previous partners. But you can't describe the feeling of wanting to procreate with somebody. Is that the word, procreate? Yeah, procreate with somebody and live with them and raise a child with them. And when you have that feeling versus when you haven't had that feeling, that's just one thing you can't fake or make. And the second thing is, as Harrison always says, we've got it. Knowing what we know, we've got as good of a chance as anyone. And we used to say, if I'm a betting person, I'm putting all my money on us. Do we know for sure that this doesn't end? We don't know. Nobody knows anything. Nobody can tell you the future in 10 years. But what we can tell you is, as far as morals align, career path, ambition, raising a kid, things we want to optimize, like what happiness means to us, fulfillment, we're aligned on all of those things. And we're aligned on what we want our lives to look like and how we feel about each other. And so with that, I absolutely love our odds. And I think you would say the same thing.
Ditto.
And my dad called me one day and he didn't ask, but I just started talking to him about this. And he was like, hey, that's it right there. If you're a betting person and you're with the person you'd put your money on, best you can do. And I was like, that's it, Dad. That's what we've got here. And so I think we both feel really good about that. The thing is, what I love about these questions today is questions like that sort of challenge us. And they don't challenge us. They just, force us to answer them. And having this like really big sense of peace that we both have of answering them and just being able to say, because it takes a bit more humility to say, I don't know for sure. But damn, do I like our odds. It's the only person I've met on the planet so far that I've come in contact with that I want to do this with. And I've been here for 30 years. He's been here for 35. So it just feels really peaceful and nice. And I'm so excited about it.
Absolutely.
Did we tell our exes?
Did that question come up a lot?
It came up. It's the second most asked question in there.
Yeah. We gave him the heads up.
We did. I did an email. Harrison did a text message, just out of respect and courtesy, because it crushes me at the thought of like an Instagram post being forwarded to somebody and then finding out that news when they held a place in your life. And the way I got to this of whether or not I was going to tell him was very simple. When I wake up on Thursday morning and I've announced it, do I sleep Thursday night knowing I told him or I didn't tell him? And I think at any turn, if you can put others' needs above yourself, you do it. And it's just like everyone wins if I give him the courtesy. And so I did email him, and I was very happy to do that, and it felt like the right thing to do. And you texted yours, and she responded, and she had a great response.
Yeah. I think our thinking was completely aligned on this.
Oh, I thought you were going to say completely different. I was like, damn.
No. I think our thinking was completely aligned, and that's why we both did it. Melissa did respond, just an unbelievable, heartwarming response, and unsurprising because she just like never misses the mark, and it's what felt right, and really wishing her the best.
Totally. And I think when it comes to whether or not, like I think it comes up a lot in scenarios. Do you send the text or do you not? And that's a very broad thought, but I can't think of a lot of scenarios where you regret sending the text.
Yep.
And so it's harder to send the text, right? You're gut wrenched. You're just kind of like, but it's the right thing to do to send the text or the email.
Totally.
So that's that answer. And
so another question that you mentioned came up a lot was, what did you think about it leaking online before you had the chance to announce it?
Initially, so I didn't know it leaked, right? Because I don't check I don't check anything. But Julie, who is our chief of staff and is the left side of my brain, calls me last Thursday and she goes, I don't want to stress you out. And I said, well, you already have with opening with that sentence because you never say that. And I was joking with her thinking she was going to be like, the credit cards have fraud. And she was like, but the pregnancy leaked. And I was like, oh, man. And I just said, okay, that's okay. We knew there was a chance, right? And we just immediately, I called Harrison and I was like, okay, it leaked. And what we decided was, all right, instead of waiting, maybe 2 more weeks, we'll just do this episode next week because it's something we're so excited to do anyways. So nonetheless, just onward we go. But here's the thing. When it leaked online, I've had a lot of things talked about me about online. My day doesn't change. Like, I'm having the best day. I'm having a baby that I'm so excited about. Does it feel like a massive invasion of privacy that somebody leaked that? Hell yeah, it does. But I can either harp on that or, as Harrison always says, there's always flowers for those that want to see them. And there's always flowers in every scenario. And so with this one, it was just like, I just couldn't care less anymore because, as I always say, I'm glad I'm the one online because I've learned the lesson. In every area of life, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you. And if you live trying to please that person, you will never win because they'll always have something to say. And the last thing I'm going to say about it is all these people that think about who you look up to, who you admire. I think of names like Ed Milet comes to mind, Jay Shetty. People like that, Mel Robbins, that really like spread positivity and things like that. And then think of the burner accounts on Instagram that leak thing. I feel so, I don't want to have dinner with those people. I don't want to know those people. They don't make my day better. They make people's day worse.
My response to this is different than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And what you're saying, what it sparks to me is really, funny enough, a Marvin Gaye saying, which is, if you can't find peace within yourself, you won't be able to find it anywhere. And
I like that.
I think that your reaction to the leaking could only be brushed off the way it did because of, where you're at mentally right now. And that's a really amazing thing to see.
It took me a while to get to this place of peace, as you call it, of just like, I think of myself as an orbit around me, right? The people that come into my orbit cheer me on, want the best for me. The people on the outside of that orbit, it's the Brene Brown quote, but it's actually a guy. It's an old historian. I'm going to butcher this. Like, it might be not Eisenhower. Somebody like that, though. But the cheap seats, the people sitting at the top of the arena, have the most opinion on the players on the court when that's exactly what they're doing. They're spectators. They're not actually playing. And so it's like the people in my orbit who bring something to my life, they can have an opinion. One time Harrison told me, he was like, he jokingly was saying, one of my friends is asking me something about your Instagram. And I said, well, tell them to contact me. And if they don't have my phone number, they don't get to have an opinion.
Yeah, there's a great saying. If you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't know my number, you don't know me well enough to have an opinion of me.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, those people are gonna have an opinion on you. You don't get to let it in. So people, I think, oftentimes operate, I always say do it scared. And guess what the entry level of doing it scared is? People having opinions on you. It is a necessary entry to life that if you're going to do anything worth talking about, guess what? Don't try and just be talked about good. If you start your own company, people are going to be like, oh, she can't do it. Or who does she think she is doing that? She can't do X, Y. No, of course they're going to say that. They wish they were doing it themselves. And so you just have to say, that has nothing to do with me. That has more to do with them. And you just keep going. Okay, so let's talk about now. Where are we going to raise her? Given the 2 finalists.
If you asked us last week, the answer would have been different than this week. And if you asked us 2 weeks before that, it would have been a different answer. So, yeah, right now the front runners are Austin and Manhattan Beach.
And I think people say, how are you thinking about this? And what we do is this fun little exercise where we ask the waitress for receipt paper that's blank. Every time we go eat a meal, we get out the pen and we write down what's important to us about finding a place to live and raising a child. It's people, weather, affordability, walkability, and then overall like lifestyle of a kid, right?
Yeah, environment of raising a child. There's like 6 or 7 things.
Like, is there Little League nearby type thing?
Totally. What's the school system like?
Yes.
Public, private, et cetera.
Yes, we look at all that. And Austin and Manhattan Beach tick really high in all those categories.
You score each one of them 1 through 10.
And then we do a total. And those are the 2 front.
And then you gut check them.
Yeah, then gut check them. Yeah, that's important to gut check them. And we're really excited about where we move, but it needs to happen sooner rather than later. And here's why. Because this sweet little thing, oh yeah, everyone's asking me the due date. And we're leaving it like a bit vague, but into September, early October. How about that? So we'll put it in that wheelhouse.
Isn't that what it is?
I mean, yeah. It's just like they actually give you like a date, but
Oh, I thought they give you a week.
it's for us to know and you to find out. Because like,
Well, I'm surprised.
what? Yeah, it's tomorrow. No, it's in then. So we need to get settled and we need to do the nursery and nest. I need to like have a kitchen to cook in. And so we need to be acclimated to where we need to have a hospital to be delivered at. So we kind of need to make this decision sooner rather than later. And so it's on the forefront of our mind. I'm so into decorating this nursery. I can't even stand it. I want to paint the crown molding pink and do also pink wallpaper, which I know you don't care about at all, but it is my Super Bowl right now. Get a car, get the car seat, learn all that. And so finding out where we're going to live is going to come sooner than later, but we'll keep you posted. But those are the finalists right now. We're going to do some like popcorn questions. But one thing I want you guys to do is go DM either me or the Just Alex account, or you can just DM Harrison if you wanted to annoy him, and tell us what you want to hear on the next week's episode. Like, do you want me to go more into what I wish I knew before I was pregnant? What I've learned so far being pregnant, what we're most worried about raising the baby. So anything like that, go and DM me because I actually do thumb through those. So I actually read like almost all of them.
What about ideas for guests?
We would love ideas for guests, moms, authors, specialists, anything like that. Like a mom and dad duo would be amazing. And we want to lean on you guys for that. So go and let us know. All right. Who's going to change the baby's diaper?
There isn't a set of less resourceful people than you and me when it comes to like service-oriented acts, such as diaper cleaning. So that is going to be an interesting one. What do you think?
Well, you said to me, I'm like 4 weeks pregnant, probably on the floor throwing up, and Harrison's like, it's the 50-50 rule in the diaper, right? Like half you, half me.
It's just like another conversation that didn't happen.
Are any other pregnant people experiencing these fake conversations in their head?
I think that coming out of our past relationships, it would have operated like under the 95-5 ratio.
Who? What was she doing 95? Because I didn't have that. I probably would have been 50-50.
Oh, I think I would have been like 90-10.
Her?
Her changing me not.
Oh, well, you have met your match because I'm not doing 90. I'm birthing.
We can just do like a little air dry where it doesn't wear diapers and we just like, our workouts are us after it goes to the bathroom, we just like sprint around the backyard and just like get it all clean.
Our baby, we don't do diapers. That's a great idea. It's a terrible idea.
We're environmentally conscious parents.
Right.
We're sustainability advocates.
As we go outside and get in our large SUV. Doesn't make any sense. We'll, as you see, we'll probably flip a coin. I don't know. If you're snoring like you did last night, which you've never snored before, you're getting up and going and changing the diaper. But we'll see. We also like the idea of a night nurse, which I'm sure is controversial, but last I checked, don't care. I think that would be something that would really fit us.
Yeah, I think we'll go down the night nurse path.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys all about that and how we got there. How we decided that. It will be it will be parenthood unfiltered.
Controversial?
Controversial?
Controversial.
I don't think it's controversial, actually. Who knows? I think it's a great idea, though, and yeah. Okay, because we'll be working, so I don't even know if I'll take maternity leave. I say that now. I think I'll have to. Will you still travel? Will you bring the baby with you?
Yeah, my sister's been a great, call it, mentor throughout this process and watching what she's done with her kid. And they're on the plane with that child all the time. And I think when you start it from a young age and you really get them used to being on the go, their adaptability is super high. And so I think that there's no reason to letting the fun stop once the baby comes.
Yeah, totally. We want to home, like, we're traveling so much right now because we're trying to figure out where to live. And for work, we just need to travel right now. But that will inherently slow down, obviously, when the baby's here and we have a home base. But yeah, I think the start them early, keep it going. What do you know Harrison will excel at as a dad? I think you're going to be really good at a lot of things, but you do things that need to be done. I see a mountain, like packing my suitcase. I'm like, that's going to take me an hour. It takes Harrison 5 minutes. So optimizing for time, you're going to be really good at. I know you were just going to cuddle this little thing. Like, you're going to be a really loving, playful dad. I think you're going to do unique things. Because you took me on really unique, thoughtful dates, and you love to do things. And so I know you're going to take this baby and she'll ski with you. She'll play soccer with you. Like, you're going to be a really active dad, which I'm really excited about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you're going to teach her how to spend all the money in the world.
No, I'm not. No, I am going minimal toys, minimal clothes. There will be no spoiling. I'm going to be very stern on that. Because you don't need that much.
Yeah, no, you will be a great mother. I know.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
I guess on the topic of spoiling.
What?
Isn't a question in there?
Oh, who will spoil the baby more, my parents or your parents?
What do you think?
Well, it's tough because we have something to go off because your parents already have one grandkid. Your parents don't seem like they would unnecessarily spoil, but definitely like make it fun.
Yeah, I think they spoil the hell out of that kid.
Okay. Do they?
Yeah, I mean, they're just over the top grandparents.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because they're going to be getting that. She's going to be getting that from both sides. Because my dad is was not quick to give us things growing up, but all this man's ever wanted is a grandkid. So I think, and they say being a grandparent's the best joy ever because the pressure's off. It's not your kid, but you just get to be there for the fun things. Have your parents met each other? So no, but great question because our first baby shower is going to be in Vancouver and my family's going, my whole family. And that's at the end of May. So they're going to meet. They talk on the phone. Like, our moms are connected. Our dads have talked about golf. They all know each other. They just haven't met in person yet.
Another great piece of advice is get pregnant before the respective parents meet each other. Great timeline to follow.
Yeah, because then, I mean, who cares how it goes? Just kidding. But one thing that was funny is at my brother's wedding shower in Dallas, the dads went to eat and Harrison went. And I was on the phone with my best friend, Nugget. And she was like, what are you guys doing today? And I was like, well, Harrison and my family, like the guys are all out to eat. She was like, oh man, it's so nice. Just like he gets to skip the whole initiation part. He's just in the family. And I was like, yeah, nothing like just having a baby with him.
And they've just been so warm. And I remember it was really funny when at that engagement party, like towards the end of the night, when your dad came up and just like gave me a giant, massive hug. I remember you came up to me after. Like, I'm sure everyone was sitting there looking at me like, what is going on with those two relationships?
Got serious fast, but we all knew what y'all didn't know, which was little babe. Okay, this is my favorite question, and it's a great one to piggyback off the Canadian-Oklahoma situation, and I don't know the answer to this, and I've been meaning to ask you. Will it be a dual citizen?
I think so.
Please, it needs to be. That is so cool.
Yeah.
What do we need to do?
I think we just need to file some paperwork.
Okay, let's file that. Hopefully it's a dual citizen. I think it's so cool to be American, not Oklahoman, American, Canadian, Jewish, Christian. We're going to do it all. We are going to mix that melting pot. We're going to do Hanukkah and Christmas. Seder, and Easter. We're going to, it will just be a well-rounded, cup-full little baby. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, let's wrap it there on the dual citizen because I think that is like way cool. And let us know, like I said earlier, let us know, DM me what you think. And without further ado, as I listen to it back, I think I got to wrap these episodes faster. So love you guys. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Just Alex, powered by Just Media House. If you enjoyed the show, which I think you did because you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. All of those things are so important. Stay connected on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Just Alex Pod. Post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Just Alex Pod by Gideon Shawkin and Denisha. I'm Just Alex, you're just you. Let's keep doing this thing. New episodes every Thursday.